Hi, my name is Trini Rodriguez, and I teach the transitional kindergarten and kindergarten intense autism classroom at Twin Oaks Elementary School. Welcome to my inquiry project presentation. The inquiry question that I developed is, what active participation strategies can I implement during small group math instruction to increase student engagement so students can access learning to meet math IEP objectives for the June reporting period? And the California Common Core state standards that I address for grades kindergarten are in counting and cardinality, writing numbers from 0 to 20, measurement and data, describing measurable attributes of objects, and in geometry, correctly naming shapes regardless of their orientations or overall size. I wanted to really strengthen my teaching skills in the CSTP Standard 1, engaging and supporting all students in learning. My current rating is Level 2 Exploring. As part of my research and action plan, I read articles and books on the effects of sensory integration and student engagement. I also developed my Super Student Behavior Management System after attending the Rick Morris seminar and strengthened my token economy system with the use of rewards and reinforcers throughout instruction after my classroom observations and collaboration with other classroom teachers. The goal is for 100% of my students to meet their June math IEP objectives. The three focus students that I chose is Primo, Narek, and Willie. Primo and Narek are verbal students. Willie is a nonverbal student that I chose as my English language learner. And they all vary in ability levels. Primo and Narek are grouped in the same instructional group. And Willie sometimes works one-on-one and sometimes in a group setting. The sensory integration strategies that I daily use in my classroom are minute moves for calming that I learned from my occupational therapist that helps support the students in my classroom. These are really quick 1 minute calming moves that help students focus and attend to the task at hand. We use these minute moves prior to instruction during whole group circle time and also during small group instructional activities. And in the picture, you could see my students are practicing their squeezes and dots. And they're able to show me that they're ready by being able to point to their ears and show me listening ears. As part of my technology, I use video modeling to help teach my students certain skills that I would like them to be more independent, and it also really helps them engage at the activity. They're so excited to watch a video. And this is the video that I showed them for the measurement and data lesson.
One, two, three, four.
I also use Tune Into Learning daily with my students. This is a music-based program that really helps teach concept skills such as numbers, shapes, and letters. So you could see here are my students in action. You could see my nonverbal student Willie is matching shapes. And my other two students, after watching the video modeling, they're able to measure picture objects by using the Unifix cubes and then showing one-to-one correspondence by counting and then writing the corresponding number. And here are some pictures of my student work samples. The first one is a student work sample for Willie where he's able to match shapes by being provided one shape at a time. And here are some other work samples of my students measuring objects. They're also able to write the corresponding number after counting a number of tally marks. And this is another paper sample of them being able to measure different objects and then write the corresponding number of Unifix cubes that it took to measure that object. And the way that I included the 4Cs into my lesson is that my students were really able to be creative by being able to measure real objects such as a glue stick, and even being able to apply that to themselves by being able to measure parts of their body. They collaborated together by being able to share Unifix cubes. They used critical thinking by answering my questions when I asked them which one was longer and shorter, and I encouraged them to talk to each other about which number was bigger or smaller after they counted out their Unifix cubes, which also promoted communication and really helped strengthen those social communication skills. And some differentiation strategies that I use for Willie, since he's a nonverbal student who has limited language skills, I really helped him by providing him with visual supports and also giving him additional processing time to answer. I also reinforced for correct responses to really shape and strengthen those skills that he was acquiring, and using nonverbal cues instead of that repetitive verbal language. I also simplified the task by giving him one item at a time to match instead of giving him all the pieces at once, which might seem a little overwhelming, and also used and model simple language for him. So instead of giving him a whole sentence to label, I would only gave him one word like circle or square for him to imitate. And then for Narek, I used frequent verbal praise because he really needs a lot of feedback to be able to follow through with the task and maintain engagement. I also repeated instructions for him, and I checked for understanding by asking him questions and having him respond back to me, providing him with manipulatives to use, especially during that measurement and data. They really liked the use of the Unifix cubes, and also modeling instruction through the use of the video modeling. For Primo, similar strategies as Narek. I used manipulatives. I modified the directions for him. So instead of like giving him a really long sentence, I giving him really clear, concise directions. And I checked for understanding by having him do a sample for me. And then I checked his work and I provided him with feedback based on that. And also giving him that sensory support so that he could self-regulate himself and be more successful at attending to the task. And these are graphs of my pre and post assessments. Week one served as my baseline, so it states the number of prompts that the students did to it. So as you see, as the weeks passed by, number of prompts slowly decreased to reach their IEP objectives. Even though they weren't able to 100% accuracy, they were still able to show improvement and growth. If you could see at week one, they were much lower than by the that they ended at week 6. Primo was very close to getting 100%. They all were able to show growth. And what I learned about my students is that they really do benefit from that sensory integration and video modeling to maintain engagement. They're also less distracted and less prompt dependent when they're working in a one-to-one setting versus a group setting. And they also benefit from that repeated instruction. So it's okay if we worked on the lessons 5 days a week, but they were able to master those skills if we were to like work on it one versus if we were only able to work on it once or twice a week. And what I learned about myself is that I really need to use those manipulatives and incorporate more hands-on learning for my students, because I feel like they really benefit from that type of instruction. And also being able to provide them with more wait time before they respond, before I intervene and prompt them, as well as setting those clear expectations of appropriate behavior prior to beginning a lesson. That really helps, especially when using manipulatives, being able to teach them this is how we're going to be using these throughout the lesson. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.